Israel announced its desire to destroy the S-400 with F-35i ADIR fighters. Israel boasted of destroying S-400 with F-35i ADIR fighters. Despite the fact that Israeli fighters are afraid even to approach the airspace of Syria, fearing that, due to the electronic warfare systems deployed in this country, they will violate the border of the Arab Republic and be shot down, Israel unexpectedly announced that in the event necessary, the Israeli Air Force can easily destroy the S-400, which caused only ridicule from the experts. According to North, the most important definition of an amazing airplane is to fly to places where they don't know you are going. Lethality and survival are two big benefits of fifth-generation fighters. The F-35 pilot has 360-degree visibility during a combat mission. It will launch a rocket from a long distance. The aircraft will launch the most advanced missiles such as Meteor, Spear and Osram, and in the future, hypersonic missiles. The mighty aircraft can handle the latest Russian S-400 system as well as high-speed, low-altitude cruise missiles. The aircraft has the most powerful radar in the world, Israel Defense reports. Experts, in turn, draw attention to the fact that if there is such a desire on the part of Russia, Israeli fighters will not even be able to rise from their bases, since they will be instantly attacked, since most of Israel's territory is under the sights of Russian triumphs. Nevertheless, the statement of the Israeli side itself raises a lot of questions, since, in fact, Israel announced its readiness to attack the Russian S-400, and apparently without any reason, in this connection. Israeli officials have expressed increasing concern over the proliferation of Iranian-made surface-to-air missile systems in Syria, as well as the Syrian military's improved air defense capabilities, which have made it more difficult for the IDF to operate over Syria. On Tuesday, Defense Minister Benny Gantz revealed that Iran uses drones to attack Israel and had even sent a drone from Syria with weapons intended for terrorists in the West Bank. In a speech, Gantz noted Iran's use of proxies across the region, in Syria, Yemen, Lebanon and Iraq. The defense minister accused Iran of seeking to take over not only the Middle East, but the entire world. Iran's method is simple: first we take Damascus, then we take Berlin, he said. Israeli F-35 defeated Russian-made Iranian S-300. Israel has dispelled the myth about the effectiveness of the S-300 systems. Despite the fact that the Russian S-300 anti-aircraft missile system is one of the most advanced in the world, the F-35 fighter was able to trick it, thereby completely debunking the myth of its effectiveness against fifth-generation aircraft. These arguments are primarily due to the fact that the Israeli F-35i ADIR fighter was able to appear near the military base in Tartus, while remaining completely invisible to radar systems. In addition, the Israeli military had previously reported that a pair of F-35 was able to freely overcome the entire airspace of Syria, penetrate the airspace of Iraq, and cross the border of Iranian airspace. According to an independent military expert, if the F-35 fighters really managed to go unnoticed by the S-300 air defense systems, then all this casts doubt on the effectiveness of the use of Russian anti-aircraft systems against fifth-generation aircraft. If this is true, then the true state of affairs between the best Russian export weapons, the S-300 and the F-35, will be revealed, follows from the specialist's statement. The specialist does not exclude that Israel will continue to test Russian air defense systems, and the key task will be to strike at the territory of Syria directly from the airspace of this country. The expert suggested that the malfunction of the Syrian air defense systems could have been caused by the impact of the Israeli fighter systems, which was also partially confirmed by the Israeli military. There have been no official comments from the Russian military on this matter so far. However, if the information is confirmed, it is likely that this could negatively affect the country's reputation, since it was previously reported that the S-300 air defense system is capable of destroy air targets created using stealth technology. Several of the recent purported Israeli attacks on Syria were allegedly conducted with surface-to-surface missiles, instead of airstrikes with fighter jets, as part of an apparent arrangement with Moscow, as the Russian-made air defenses being used by Syria have struggled to counter the Israeli air raids, embarrassing Russia. Surprise for Israeli F-16s. Iran has deployed Qordad-3 air defense systems in Syria. The first enemy has already been shot down. Iran has nevertheless deployed its air defense systems in Syria. A source from the Avia.pro news agency has provided satellite images showing at least 3 Iranian-made Qordad-3 anti-aircraft missile systems on the Syrian-Lebanese border, from where most of the Israeli F-16 attacks are made. The effective range of destruction of targets of the latter is from 75 to 105 kilometers, which is enough to defeat Israeli fighters in the event of new attacks on Syria. It is known that the Iranian air defense systems, Qordad, are located at the very Lebanese border, which allows these air defense systems to hit hostile targets over the entire territory of Lebanon. The complexes, according to some reports, could have been airlifted here by Iranian military aircraft that had previously landed at the Khmeimim air base, and, interestingly enough, the Israeli military has not attempted attacks against Syria for more than a month, which obviously means that the IDF aware of the current situation. It should be clarified that the appearance of Iranian air defense systems in this region of Syria was a rather big surprise, and if initially assumptions were made that we were talking about Soviet-made cube complexes, then later it turned out that the Syrian army has everything only a few of these air defense systems, which are located near Damascus. Official Tehran previously announced its intentions to transfer its own air defense systems to Syria, since Russian complexes do not ensure the safety of the Iranian military, while it is possible that Iranian Bavar 373 air defense systems may appear in Syria. Earlier, thanks to the capabilities of the Qordad-3 air defense system, Iran was able to destroy the American strategic drone MQ-4. Israel has staged hundreds of strikes on targets inside government-controlled Syria over the years but rarely acknowledges or discusses such operations. Moscow claims that a Russian air defense system has hit an Israeli F-35. Days ago, Israel reported an incident with one of its fifth-generation F-35 stealth fighters, learned BulgarianMilitary.com. According to the information spread in the Israeli media, just before returning to the Nevatim air base, located in the Negev desert, 2 flocks of birds hit the fighter and caused damage. Despite the accident, the pilot managed to land the fighter jet on the runway successfully. Israeli media say that engineers from Lockheed Martin have already arrived to check the fighter's condition and whether it will continue to perform its duties. However, this is not the case for the Russians. The Russian version is as follows: a Russian anti-aircraft missile system has struck an Israeli fighter jet. This version is already widely circulated in Russia. It is about the Russian air defense system S-400, which is in service with the Syrian army. As a basis for this statement, the Russians take part in the information of Israeli PM, who said that, "This is an unacceptable incident. If someone tries to harm us, we will take revenge." According to a spreading conspiracy theory, the Israeli fighter strike was a demonstration of force by the Russian-Iranian-Syrian alliance. The S-400 is a Russian missile system from the Soviet era. This system is an extremely outdated version of the Soviet air defense. This system cannot intercept, let alone hit a fifth-generation fighter. And this is not just about the F-35, but about almost every fighter of Generation 4 or 4++. The only and most definite confirmation that the fighter met a flock of birds is that it successfully returned to the base.